Ladies and gentlemen, we are a little bit of a host change due to some other issues backstage, but we're here live, and today we're going to talk about the September 11th, 1995 editions of Monday Nitro and WWE Raw. Hi, Mitt. And we're also going to be doing WCW Fall Brawl 95. But first, I am your mystery host, Donovan Cartwright, joined alongside by my co-host, Isaac Bell. Isaac, how you doing?
I am up there as soon as I figure out how to share this thing. I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We are good. We are audio only today, mostly because I've got too many other things going on in the background, so I would prefer to keep it audio and audios to anybody that doesn't like that, but we are just going to be audio.
Yeah.
And we welcome our first viewer, Mitt. And thank you, Mitt, for sharing the show.
Thank you.
Mitt will be sharing the show. Alright, well, Isaac. Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing some Skype-related or Facebook-related issue. I am going to get my co-host back here as soon as I can. Alright, Isaac? Isaac?
Yes.
Okay. We're back live with Isaac. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about Wrestlution Wretro. As in, this is the first time Monday Night Raw and WCW Monday Nitro went head-to-head. Well, not technically head-to-head. This is pre-Monday Night Wars, but the first one we are going to talk about is Isaac's favorite episode. We're going to talk about WWF. We're going to talk about the first episode of Raw that went to head-to-head with Nitro. Well, not head-to-head, but yeah, you know, they were on at the same night. So unfortunately, Isaac did not get the privilege of watching this wonderful show. So,
I'm sorry in advance because of lack of knowledge.
the first match was a dark match. We had Lex Luger, your boy, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker teaming up against Men on a Mission, King Mabel, Sir Mo, and Psycho Sid in a 6-man tag match. And the team of Luger, Michaels, and Undertaker won the match. Now, that was a very odd pairing to start with.
It really is something. In that phase, like Vince was like, "This is good," and then Hulk Hogan.
Luger could have been, but he just didn't have. He didn't have it. Okay, so our first match was the British Bulldog versus Razor Ramon. British, huh?
I was trying to say hello to the bad guy, but I botched.
And British Bulldog won by disqualification.
What is the disqualification? Chair, outside interference.
It doesn't say.
Do you know?
No, unfortunately, I was not watching Raw around this time, so I really can't. It was just a cheap shot from the outside. Yeah. The next match was the Smoking Guns taking on Radford and the Brooklyn Brawler. Shout out to the Brooklyn Brawler. The Smoking Guns consisted of Billy and Bart Gunn.
This is probably way before Billy got big.
Yeah, he was a tag team guy back then. I mean, he was totally different from what he's known for. I had a Western gimmick.
Oh wait, these the cowboy guys? They were dressed as cowboys or whatever?
Yeah, Maylin says that Roman Reigns called it quits for a while.
So bad that I sound like a noob. Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like such a piece of shit right now.
Well, the Smoking Guns defeated Radford and the Brooklyn Brawler. Roman will be back, I can guarantee you that. The next one is, and you don't know this guy, Dr. Isaac Yankums versus Scott Taylor.
No, I unfortunately know who this is.
Yeah,
Google.
The crazy sadistic psycho Dr. Isaac Yankums was the psycho dentist, aka now known as Kane, defeated Scott Taylor.
That sounds like a jobber name.
Do you know who Scott Taylor is?
I feel like I should, but I don't. Oh.
Yeah, that's Scott Taylor. Too cool.
Ah.
Scotty Taylor Hottie. And
I said, well, I don't feel too cool right now.
he was beaten pretty quick. It was only a 2-minute and 46-second match. And then we saw, even though he was in a dark match, we saw Shawn Michaels as the champion defend the WWF Intercontinental title against Psycho Sid, even though they were already in action in a dark match. And Psycho Sid was with Ted DiBiase.
It was 95. I'm trying to think of who was champion at this time.
Shawn Michaels, and he retained.
No, WWF champion. I feel like it was like Hogan. I think it might have been Hogan or Brett, right?
Hogan, it was probably Brett. Hogan was in WCW at him.
Okay, so and it probably was and a woman.
It might have been Yokozuna, but I feel like it was Brett.
Yeah, that's a good point. Before Brett got, because if Brett even beat Yokozuna to win it.
May says that Undertaker and his brother have unfinished business with DX. Yes, they do. That's a feud that's been going on a long time.
Seriously.
Is there anything else you want to add to this, Mr. Isaac?
I was gonna ask, so if Yokozuna was champion, does that mean, I'm trying to figure out how Brett became champion? Did he win it from...
Yeah, he eventually won.
Or did he... No, I know that, but was it from Yokozuna, or was it from somebody else, like Diesel? I feel like Diesel didn't get into it until later.
Yeah, and you're going to notice the difference between Nitro and Raw, because Nitro was 1 hour back then.
Really? It was NXT time?
Yeah, Nitro back at this time was 1 hour. Raw was still 2. But we're going to shift over into WCW Nitro on the 11th, same night.
Alright. Give me a minute, let me change over. Alright, I'm ready.
We have 4 dark matches.
Wow, that's a lot.
And their world champion was all over television. Kevin Nash betray the NWO. I don't know if that would happen right now. And Facebook weighs in its opinion. The first dark match we had is...
I see it.
The first match is Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater with Colonel Roberts Parker versus Harlem Heat, Booker T, and Stevie Ray with Sister Shem. It ended in a double count out. Oh yeah, it just said Sister Shem on my end. It's Sister Sherry, and they won by double count out in a WCW Tag Team title match.
Huh.
The second match was the dark match. Shark defeated Mark Starr.
I wonder if he is any kin to David Starr.
No. And Shark was also not really notable either. Because you would know him better as Earthquake.
Oh. Because that worked out so well for him.
Anything that wasn't the Shockmaster worked better for him.
Wait, that was him? That was him?
Yeah, Shock...
Oh, gosh, he can... Oh.
It was either him or Typhoon.
Wow.
Alright. The next dark match was...
That's embarrassing.
The next dark match was Kamala versus Barry Houston.
Amazing.
Kamala defeated Barry Houston.
Should we know who Barry Houston is, or...
Barry Houston's most notable thing...
I'm looking at all these names.
I mean, he teamed with Paul Orndorff, so he had a fairly good tag partner.
That's fair.
He was in IWA Japan back in 1980s, 90s. But not really. He's just more of an independent guy. He was a jobber. Kamala defeated him. And then we saw Johnny B. Bad defeated Ric Flair by DQ.
Knowing Flair, I find that believable.
Johnny B. Bad won. Then when we get out of the dark matches and matches you can actually find, we saw Alex Wright defeated Sabu by DQ.
I bet Sabu used a chair.
Mm-hmm. And then the next match we saw a United States Championship, the champion Sting versus VK Wall Street, a.k.a. Erwin R. Shyster.
Nice.
Sting defeated him to retain the WCW United States Championship. Then we saw, ooh yeah, the Macho Man Randy Savage versus Scott Norton.
Now, those names I know. Scott Norton is a former New Japan, is the former IWGP Heavyweight Champion.
Mm-hmm.
That I know.
And we saw the Macho Man. Let it run wild on Scott Norton. Ooh, yeah. Dig it. Because he went up and hit the flying elbow drop from the top rope. Ooh, yeah. And then we saw the Brock Lesnar match of the night as Hulk Hogan, the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, went one-on-one with, well, he had Jimmy Hart in his corner versus Lex Luger, and he defeated, Hulk Hogan defeated him by DQ to retain the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. And really, hi James, we're not on video, we're just on audio. And this was before women's wrestling was a thing in WCW or WWF.
I imagine, what was I going to say? Hogan had already joined NWO by this time?
No, there was no NWO. This was '95, dude. This was still Hulkamania Hulk Hogan.
Oh. But he's still, okay.
This was pre-Goldberg. So yeah, we had
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that was the results for that. And then we're gonna shift over to the pay-per-view to Fall Brawl on the 15th from the Asheville Civic Center in Asheville, North Carolina.
You know, it's just interesting that, I find it interesting that it seems like WCW for a while seemed very basic compared to the way it changed. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it appears just like that's just any other car. But it's like all these other places is like, but then later that like went to this like rogue state of where the inmates ran the asylum kind of thing.
Well, you know, WCW felt really like the show felt more packed. I mean, they had a lot of like the hell, but you saw Scotty 2 Hotty was on the card and shit like that. Now, Isaac, we get into Fall Brawl. This is the first ever Monday Night Wars pay-per-view. First ever.
Okay.
First time ever, buddy. The first match was Johnny B. Bad, who's coming off of a win over Ric Flair, versus Flying Brian Pillman.
Nice.
And after 29 minutes and 57 seconds, Johnny B. Bad defeated Flying Brian Pillman. So this already, for those of you who really don't know who Johnny B. Bad is, I remember him being in TNA. I didn't really watch him back in the day, but he has a win over Brian Pillman and Ric Flair in the same week.
Oh, Mark Miro. Nice.
Next match was Sergeant Craig Pillman defeated Cobra in 1 minute and 12 seconds. That was not even worth mentioning. And next, we had the champion Renegade versus Diamond Dallas Page for the WCW TV title. Diamond Dallas Page defeated Renegade to win the WCW TV television title.
Good for Diamond.
Huh?
Good for him.
Yeah, this was his TV
good
title.
for him.
Back in 95. The next match, we had the WCW Tag Team titles. We had Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater. There are so many things wrong with this team name. Would you like to go bunk with Dick and Buck? I'm good. I'm good. I'll pass. Thank you.
Yeah, I will kindly pass. Hard pass. That's a hard pass.
That's a very hard pass. So Harlem Heat defeated Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater to win the WCW Tag Team titles. So we already had 2 title exchanges. Mm-hmm. Then we saw this was back when they were still feuding. Arn Anderson defeated Ric Flair.
So this is... Okay, never mind. I was trying to think about where did the... Never mind, I gotta stop sounding like a
This was a
novice.
face Ric Flair facing a heel Arn Anderson. And then the main event, we had a War Games match. We had Hulk Hogan, Stinger, the man called Sting, Randy Macho Man, Randy Savage, and the Lex Express, Lex Luger, versus Zodiac, Ming, Kamala, and Shark.
Did you say Sting? Oh yeah, you said Sting already.
Hogan, Sting, Savage, and Luger versus Zodiac, Ming, Kamala, and Shark in War Games. Obviously, Sting, Hogan, Savage, and Luger won. And that is the result for that week. It felt like a good show. It really did. I was not highly anticipating much of anything out of that, but it was a good show.
I feel like very all good. Everybody hyped up the matches. Like knew that probably was like match of the night. So no, actually I think I bet Arn versus Flair was probably match of the night.
Yeah, Arn versus Flair was definitely match of the night. It went 22 minutes, but Johnny B. Bad versus Brian Pillman was a good opener too.
Yeah. But that went like what, 29?
It was 3 seconds shy of a half an hour.
Yeah, so 29.
Yeah, especially for a Mark Arrow match. So yeah, I mean this is what you get from the WCW review. This was their first Monday Night Wars, even though the war hadn't really started up yet. They were already. It was '95. It was a dark age. Most fans don't remember it, but I do. Oh boy, do I! I remember how hyped I was for the show. And you know, this is what you get, man. This is what you get.
It looked like it was fun, to be honest. So I wish, I bet the crowd was into it. Like the energy was there. Energy was all there. Fans were into it. You know, it was very energetic.
I feel the same. All of these matches are just kind of like, and see, this is why I like doing this show right here, because it's history. You know, this is like after the Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania was still big. Hulk Hogan was on every main event defending the WCW World Heavyweight title. Granted, he kept winning. Sting was the United States champion. Harlem Heat is now your tag champions. I don't know who the WWF champions were at the time.
I think it was Sting before he got the makeover, when he turned to Crow Sting.
Mm-hmm. This was '95 Sting. This was when he was still the Surfer Sting.
Nice.
This was a good. This really was a good like pay-per-view.
I feel like it was like the first of many, but like the last of a few. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
like, it was good.
This
was good.
Go ahead.
But like the rest of, but like it was among it. There were a few good ones that were still among it, but after a while, it got bad due to other things, like the way other things that happened in the company. You know
yeah,
I mean?
and I know, like, I don't sound very excited, but like, it's just, you know, like, you look at what we've got today. That's why we're doing this, because a lot of people says, oh, harken back, the Attitude Era was the best era in wrestling, but they forget how many horrible matches they had versus the ones we remember. I mean, my God, dude, we got the Godwin brothers. Come on. WWF wasn't perfect. WCW wasn't perfect. But you look at the WCW lineup at that point. This was WCW when they were killing in the ratings. They had a shit ton of dark matches. I counted 4 dark matches. They had 8 matches on a Nitro card, and they only had 1 hour, and 4 of them were dark matches. I mean, Brian Pillman, or no, not Brian Pillman, Sid Vicious and Sting. No, it wasn't Sid Vicious. Anyways, 2 people on the Raw on the WWF card was used in the dark match and on the card. In Nitro, they had a big enough roster. Hey, let's put these guys on there in dark matches in front of the live crowd, but they're not on the show. They still got their exposure, but that's not really the point. And, you know, with WCW only having an hour and Raw being a 2-hour show at the time.
Uh-huh.
I think you can get the math, Isaac. And here's the thing about Raw. We didn't even have Stone Cold Steve Austin yet.
Yeah, you didn't have like the things that would sell like Rock or Austin or.
Yeah, at the time you had. At the time, these were your top guys: Shawn Michaels, Undertaker. No, that was it. Shawn Michaels and Undertaker.
Because I feel like the Undertaker was all. Since he got in, he was going to be a top guy.
Yeah, and look what they stuck him with. They stuck him with a fucking 1800s Western Undertaker gimmick. You know, the era of gimmicks. He took something ridiculous and made it a career out of it. But you know, you look at the WWF results. I mean, you can tell who their top guys were at the time. You can really tell.
Yeah. And I mean, in a sense, it kind of worked out for him. You know?
Yeah, it did. And like I said, you can tell who their top guys were at the time. Luger, Michaels, and Undertaker. But here's the thing about Luger, though. If you noticed, Luger was on Nitro and Raw at the time. So Luger was on his way out, too. So they had Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Sid Vicious. They and Razor Ramon, you know he's on his way out by then.
Yeah. Absolutely. He was probably on his way to WCW before too long.
Exactly. You know, there were, WWF did not have a lot of top guys at the time. I mean, they were losing people, like they lost, they were going to lose Diesel and Razor Ramon.
I honestly believe that initially, when Hogan jumped to WCW, Vince didn't know what to do.
No, because he was building it around, he built everything around Hogan. The era of Hulkamania was over, and he was still trying to be Hulk Hogan.
That's what I'm saying. I firmly believe, like, when Hogan announced he was leaving and going to WCW, he was like, holy crap, I don't know what to do. I don't have any replacement. Not even a replacement. I just like, I wasn't prepared for this. You know, which would be weird considering I'm trying not to use the word psycho, but like the person we know him as now, it sounds crazy that Vince wouldn't be prepared for something. But I believe at this time he was like, I have no words. I don't know what to do. And then, so he immediately thought, okay, what's the next big guy who can turn patriotic and give him all this stuff and turn him into Hogan? You, Lex Luger, come over here. You're going to be the next Hogan. Yeah, so how are we going to do this? We're going to start by having you be the first person to body slam Yokozuna, and you're going to go, this thing called the Lex Express. And you're going to be like the face of this company, and we're going to make you this big patriotic guy, and you're going to be great. People are going to love you.
You're going to be a star.
I feel like that's yeah. You're finally going to get what you want.
I feel like that with WCW, because they just got Lex Luger in at this point. Because he was at the WCW War Games. I feel like that's where his debut was, because he was on Raw in a match. He wasn't even on TV. But I feel like after Luger, they built with Bret Hart. But this was during the time when Bret and Owen were also kind of at odds, because Owen was actually kind of with Yokozuna. He was against Bret. So you did have that going on. I mean, they made Bret into the top guy. This was when Shawn Michaels was still Intercontinental Champion. He wasn't the showstopper back then. He was just the Intercontinental Champion. With the old-fashioned, ugly-ass white belt they used to have.
Oh yeah.
The one they kind of harkened in is their kind of the design they're using now, which I don't mind the new one. It's the old one, but I liked the Intercontinental title with the big blue, like blue and gold design. I liked that design.
Oh yeah, like the one The Rock had.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was a good one.
Yeah, the one they had back in the Ruthless Aggression. I liked that one.
Yeah, it was a fun one. A lot of people had that one. RVD had it.
Jericho, Christian.
Yeah. I think Jericho had all of his 9 title reigns with that one.
Yeah, he did.
That's incredible.
He had the WWF US WWE US title once.
Yeah.
But
I'm not gonna lie. I don't care what anybody says. Do not care what anybody says. The US the WCW title, US title looks better than the one WWE had.
hats, they still have it. No, I agree. I fully agree. It was a better.
No, I mean you know the one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
One where it's like it's gold, but you see the flag in the middle. It's the U.S. title because you can see the flag in the middle of it. But the one they have now, it's like, well, you have it now, but it's like results. I mean, use it anymore because you care.
Sorry about that.
But like, I like the WCW one, like the one Goldberg one.
Yeah.
When he beat Raven. I think that U.S. title was done better.
It really was. You know, and like I said, dude, you know, this is kind of the setup what we got in. This is not the Monday Night Wars yet. We're still in the era. We're still in. This is Nitro's second television show, and they were still following a 1-hour format. So it's like this, you know. Why? You know, where does the Monday Night Wars come in? Well, the Monday Night Wars didn't start till 96. And we're at the end of 95. But this is where you start seeing it, and you can see the quality in the show differences. I mean, obviously, with what we just talked about, Lex Luger was on his way out the door, because he wasn't even on television. He was in a dark match on Raw.
Right.
Sid Vicious and freaking Sid Vicious and now I'm farting out on this. Sid Vicious and Shawn Michaels were in a tag match in that dark match, and then turned around and we're in a title match the same night. That shows you.
How many titles were on it?
No, WCW had a lot of title matches.
Well, yeah, that's actually what I was about to allude to. I said it's kind of funny how all the titles just about in WCW were on the card to be defended in that one little pay-per-view versus I get it's only a Monday Night Raw episode, but the champion isn't even on it to do anything. Like the Intercontinental title, not that that's a bad thing.
And remember, this isn't the first episode of Raw, but it's like, you know, this is Nitro versus WWF. So because they missed a week because they had a dog show on, and you'll see that come up some.
Wait, what now?
WWF was knocked off the air weeks that they had dog shows back then.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was so. They still do that. I think they still do that. Like on USA, right around when they had that Westminster dog show, they cut it off on USA. No, I think they still do that.
I don't think they do. I haven't seen it. But I don't watch Raw. But anyway, yeah, I do watch Raw, but not really. So anyway, yeah, but
But it makes sense.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying, like WCW and WWF go head to head, and we're not gonna count who's a champion. I don't know who the champion is. I could do the research, but I want it to come up.
Hold on. You just stop wrestling or not? No. Hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to see these matches come up platonically.
Digital drive-through. My bad, Donovan. Hold on.
I want to see, ladies and gentlemen, I want to see, WWF isn't putting the champion. Now, I know a lot of people today say this, and at the time, Hulk Hogan was the WCW World Champion, and people cared more about Sting. But the fact is, the champion was defending his title weekly at this point.
Sorry, my bad. All right, go ahead, Donovan. Sorry.
I was talking about how at least Hogan, even though we know what we know today, nobody wants to see Hogan today, but back then you were seeing him weekly. Hulkamania was played out at this point, but he was a fighting champion. He was on the card every week.
And I feel like even if he was played out, people still enjoyed seeing him because it was Hogan. If you didn't see it, because I feel like he still has that
presence, draw.
That power. Not let's say power. Yeah, that draw. Not like the draw that Lesnar has, where it's like, oh, he's just a draw because he's Lesnar. That's not a draw. You're a draw because you're a big name. People enjoy seeing you, and you're good.
People still liked Hulk Hogan, but he was Hulk Hogan. The Hulk Hogan was like 4 years played out at this point.
I still don't think that damaged him.
It did. That's why they turned him heel later. They turned him heel because of that very fact. The Hulkamania angle was just way overdue. Hulk Hogan just kept going with it. But I mean, it's Hogan, and he kept doing the same format. But by this point, it was almost a decade since it started. Because Hulkamania started in '86. And I'm going to have to do some fact checking, but he might have turned heel. What? What? Oh, well, my co-host is busy right now. So, I'll do some fact checking for next week, but I think Hulkamania may have ended at almost a decade after it started. And it was about, at that point, it was about five.
Let's look up right now.
What? My co-host is going to fact check. Hang on, Isaac. I got somebody tried to call me on something, and it fucked up the fucking call. I need my. You still there? Isaac?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it fucked up the podcast.
Yeah, I remember. I got it right here.
Yeah.
So here though.
Because I know.
Right here.
I know.
1996.
Yeah, I know. But I'm trying to figure out when Hulkamania actually started.
1996. July.
That's when Hulkamania ended, not when it started. He had been doing Hulkamania for like a decade. With no changes.
I just Googled it. Oh, wait, no. Somebody, I typed it in, they said they gave me his birthday.
Well, anyways, it was 10 years. He did Hulkamania for 10 years. But anyways, so Isaac, do you have anything else you want to add to this?
What else? Other than the fact that Will Ospreay is not going to be a power struggle anymore. Watch Impact tonight. Johnny Mundo is going to take on Phoenix for the Impact World title. Should be great. As far as this goes, I'm looking forward to it. I like this. I like delving into history.
Yeah, I figured you would.
See how we got to this point.
And this is going to be kind of like Golden Report, ladies and gentlemen, where I just bring on whoever wants to join. But other than that, I think the only thing we have on our minds is when is Golden Warrior cashing in his rematch clause?
I need to go find myself, and I need to figure out what I did wrong. I gotta look back at this and figure out, why can't I beat this guy? But I need to do some studying, do some recharge. I need to go into a camp and figure this out. So, in due time. In due time.
There you have it, and he's on his cruise of smooth. He said he'll be unavailable till November 3rd. November 3rd. November 3rd. November 3rd, Isaac.
Okay, I get it. I know what November 3rd is. Special day.
Happy birthday to you.
Not yet. Too early. Too early. Slow it down, buddy.
I know, I'm just letting our fans know that it's a very special day. It's a golden celebration.
Mm-hmm.
AC Smooth said, but it won't be with his belt.
We'll see.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, other than that, we've covered the shows, we've had discussions. I don't want to drag this on. This, unlike Golden Report, I would like to keep to a pretty simple thing. I mean, I'd like to discuss the matches more, but we break it down a lot and go into history. And Isaac gets to do research, and for all of you, it's good to just do your research, look it up, dive more into detail, and follow along with us. Follow the storyline. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit more ill prepared than I was on the pilot episode, but next week I'll actually have some more discussion with this. I'll get notes and just dive into it. I'm just apologizing. I only had the results. I didn't really have like you get today where people write up results. I'll try to get everything square. And we'll talk about next week. We'll be talking about WCW Monday Nitro episode 3 and WWF Monday Night Raw. But for now, we are going to give our final thoughts. Isaac, huh?
I'm saying, mind you, these are not episodes that were the first episodes of those respective shows. These are the shows that, from the moments that led up to the biggest point in professional, arguably the biggest power struggle in wrestling history.
It was the biggest. It was the hike of wrestling at the time. It was the height. I mean, we talk about New Japan. We can talk about freaking 90s in Japan, AJPW, all that. But we're not going to talk about it. We're talking about the Monday Night Wars. The Attitude Era is right around the corner. Arguably, a lot of people say was the best era. Some say the second best. You know, some say it was, Ruthless Aggression. But we're talking about...
Look at it like this.
What?
Look at it like this. Also on the heels in the history of having some of the greatest matches. On Brett. Talking what? Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. We're talking Bret and Owen. Talking Shawn and Owen. Or, Austin and Bret.
Austin and Shawn.
All these matches like that. Austin and Shawn, yeah. Like the first couple times they fought. When they were the tag team champions. Who remembers that match?
And those definitely forgettable matches between Undertaker and The Rock, because those two did not have good chemistry together.
They really did. Actually sad.
As great as they both were,
his match versus Diesel at WrestleMania 12.
But
So yeah.
So that's your final thoughts?
Speaking of which, final thoughts are simple. You guys, even though I'm not on video, I am wearing my room. Right now I am wearing the first shirt I ever got at a live event.
Nah.
When I went to.
Nah. Sorry.
December 13th, 2014. It was the first night I'd ever gone to a wrestling show, and it was SmackDown. And guess who was in the main event? That's right, Roman Reigns, who's taking on Rusev. And since I was a fan before then, but fun fact about that night, where I was sitting, you know how he made his crowd entrances around that time? Well, where he was sitting, I'm sitting up. He made his entrance right at the tunnel, like right next to my section.
He said section.
So, yeah. So, yeah. That was a pretty great feeling. It's a great feeling. But, yeah, basically, y'all keep this man in his prayers, regardless of whether you like him or not. Support the human being, not the character.
I hate the character. I wish the character would die in that car accident Vince McMahon was in. But as far as the human being, I really do feel bad for the dude. They should have just killed him off in the car accident on TV.
What is wrong with you?
I hate the character. What are you talking about? Vince McMahon got blown up in a car accident.
I know, but like, yeah, no. Why can't you just say earlier?
Dude, Undertaker got like driven and blown up by Randy Orton back in the day.
Undertaker, you know he's gonna come back. It's the Undertaker. It's the freaking Undertaker.
Well, Roman Reigns needs to be blown up. Why can't Roman Reigns be blown up so he can come back? Because he's the big dog and he can sell death.
I feel like you couldn't sell, well...
I don't feel like he could sell a popsicle in the desert.
See, now you got me curious. Now you're like, well, I wonder what it would do if he did something like that. But then I realized this isn't Impact Wrestling. They can't do undead storylines. Like the one
I'm not saying undead. I'm saying blow him up, but he survived.
That's what I was getting at.
No, but like he survived. He didn't like die. He survived.
Either way, the point is, ladies and gentlemen, support Roman, support the man in his time of need, because Lord knows he needs all the help he can get. Support, all this stuff. Like, just keep him in your prayers.
Big dog.
Whether you like it, whether you like his character or not. Like I said, I like both because I've liked him for a long time. Like I said, ever since he was with the Shield, Tom I was with the Shield. I'm like, I love this guy. I just feel like it's gonna be great, and I wasn't wrong. I was not wrong. So
he likes this guy in the bedroom.
Needs him. Just please support. Show your support for Roman Reigns. That's all I ask.
Please support.
And walk with a lot.
Support Joe Reigns, man. Don't support Roman.
Okay. All right. Those are my final thoughts, though.
My final thoughts are that fucking Nitro with 1 hour is still more stacked than Raw.
That is true. That's a fair point.
But
yeah.
A lot like Lex Luger went to Nitro, was going to WCW.
Yeah. So.
I mean, the NWO is already in the same house. Yeah, boy, you know. New world odor. You know you're doing the theme song when I said New World Odor, not order.
Oh.
We are changing the wrestling world. Trust in the New World Order. Believe in us.
When you first said that, I thought you were going with the Elite
Bullet.
slogan, but you weren't.
Well, actually, Kenny Omega used that when he was still the leader of the Bullet Club as a heel.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been sticking to that mantra since he was still Bullet Club. That was pre Cody Rhodes coming to New Japan. Yeah. That's been, but he was saying it more as a heel, but I feel like that's Kenny. That's not really the character, so.
Well, no, because, well, you think about it, he said it to Coda. He and Coda had an agreement, we're going to change the world.
So, yeah.
Back when they were a tag team.
So this is our final thoughts. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. I will see you next time. Remember, stay golden, cheer for the champ, and since this is Wrestlution,
don't cheer for the champ because I'm not the champ.
No, but this is Wrestlution Retro, so we can cheer for the former champ because it's retro. So we're still celebrating you winning the title.
Right on.
Because that's retro.
You know what?
Fine, we'll celebrate Jack Crisp winning the belt. How about that? I know you don't want to celebrate Nighthawk or Magic Pony winning the belt.
No, I'm good. I'll settle for me later.
Nobody wants to cheer for them winning the belt. Nobody cheered for either one of them when they won the belt. At least AC Smooth got cheered. Now we got to listen to Anthony with his damn afro hat. You wouldn't get that joke unless you were there last night. Seriously, you're not going to get that joke.
No, I saw the picture. He looked ridiculous.
That was fucking great. I love Anthony. Hey, at least he's willing to try something new.
Did you see what I posted in the group chat? I posted, you look stupid. You look stupid. Like what they used to cheer for Sheamus when he returned?
Yeah.
The mohawk and all that? Yeah, that's why I cheered.
It does look stupid on him, though. Like, seriously, it still looks stupid on him. It has not grown on me. A lot of people think it should grow on you, didn't. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get the heck up out of here. Thank you all for tuning in to Wrestlution Retro. We'll see y'all you'll hear us next week, right here, same similar time, same place. Remember, stay golden.